Second Amendment is no different. People that love guns, I love cars, I collect cars. People that go and buy comic books and collect comic books like at Comic-Con, there's no difference. The problem is there's so much misinterpretation because nobody's willing to talk to the people that are behind the line. Listen, I run a gun store. I've ran a gun store for over 10 years. This stuff is my life. It's my passion. I know it, okay? I know what works and I know what doesn't work. So listen, you know, whatever his name is Borat to me. Stick to your dumb comedy because that's what you're good at. So the part we're upset is where Showtime starts to make guns try to look like toys by sticking stuffed animals on them.
You know, I found myself asking a question following the Democrats right now and their street protesters, which are out in the streets every day protesting ICE for the separation of children. Well, what is ICE? Immigration Customs Enforcement. What does ICE actually do? Well, mostly they stop drugs and paraphernalia from coming into this country and gang members and child trafficking. That's what they do the most of. In fact, they have a whole child trafficking division of ICE that has saved thousands of kids. And so I'm looking into this, and you see the leftist street mobs protesting ICE for separating children. They don't do that. That's not ICE. ICE doesn't separate the kids. So here's the thing. So think about this. This just shows you how loony they are right now. People show up at the border. If it's children unaccompanied, if it's children with adults, if it's children with parents, whatever the situation is, adults go to the Department of Homeland Security to be vetted. Children go to the Department of Health and Human Services to be vetted. This has been policy for decades. That's where the separation happens. How does that equal ICE? Well, it doesn't. Now, here's the trick, though. The Democrats know that. The Democrats running this know that ICE is not the one separating the kids. It's the law that adults go to DHS, kids go to HHS, and then if we can, we try to separate them after the vetting process. That's what's been going on for decades. But so why, and the Democrats know this, why are the Democrats protesting ICE? We understand why the street mobs, the hate mobs, the leftist hate mobs, we know why they protest ICE. They're clueless. They're stupid. They're ignorant. They're brainwashed sheeple. So they just do whatever they're told to do. Oh, yeah, ICE bad. Occupy ICE. Why are you occupying ICE? They're separating kids at the border. No, they're not. That's DHS and HHS. Shut up, racist. Great conversation. That's how that goes. But the Democrats know that ICE has nothing to do with it. So why are the Democrats calling for ICE shutdown? Seriously, I'm just asking the question. ICE keeps criminals and drugs and paraphernalia and child trafficking from stopping. That's what ICE does the most. So why are the Democrats trying to stop that? Just trying to figure it out. That's all. You know, there's a story going around right now. It's on Infowars.com. It's on Daily Caller. It's a bunch of different places. Trump has been set up, framed, and persecuted by the intelligence community. Of course, Chuck Schumer admitted that on MSNBC. Phil Mudd admitted it. They all admit it. And then you're crazy if you report on it. But here's the thing. Trump knows that. Okay? He knows what's going on, and he's got them by the short hairs, ladies and gentlemen. All right, it is my honor now to be joined by Norris Sweidan, and I hope I'm pronouncing that right. He is the owner of the Warrior One guns and ammo store that Sacha Baron Cohen tried to troll just a bit ago, and of course, he caught them. Norris, thank you for joining me today.
Hey, what's going on? Thanks for having me.
Well, you've pretty much gone viral because you called out Sacha Baron Cohen, and I guess you're the first one to ever catch him. This is a guy who's been doing this type of comedy skits and routines for a long time, and he always gets away with it. Are you the first person to actually catch and stop Sacha Baron Cohen in the act?
I guess so. It's probably the first I heard of that. So, yeah, you know, that's good then.
Well, I'm trying to figure out what exactly goes on here. So he thinks he's going to make you look like an idiot in some way, shape, or form, whatever his agenda is. And you guys, and based on other interviews, you all were kind of suspicious at the beginning. And then you said once he faked his Hungarian accent, that's when you knew it was an act.
Yeah, because they called us and said, listen, the producers called. They said, we'd love to come in there and document a Hungarian immigrant buying a gun. Hey, listen, this is America. We love selling guns. Come on in. So they come in, they set up. He comes walking in. And let me tell you, you can see it on the camera. I'm standing there in the corner. As soon as he turns that corner and I see how he's dressed and how he looks, I'm like, okay, there's no way this is real.
Now, this is the angle that I haven't heard anyone else say, and correct me if I'm wrong, because the whole report seems to be Sacha Baron Cohen is, he's a jerk, he's a clown, how dare he, he's fooling politicians, pretending to be a wounded warrior. Yeah, that's classless. But again, this is the kind of stuff the guy's been doing, faking like he's singing a national anthem. So he's always kind of done this. You're the first person, at least to anyone's knowledge that I know, to ever stop him. So this is my angle. He tries to make the gun store owners and the gun store look like a bunch of idiots. That's how they wanted to play this. Guess what? They were the smartest people he ever dealt with. So congratulations for proving to America that gun owners and Second Amendment activists are not a bunch of redneck hillbilly idiots. They're actually some of the smartest and most aware people on earth. So I salute you. Thank you for doing that for America.
And I appreciate that. And you know what? And that's what the message I'm trying to give back is. I'm trying to tell people, listen, Second Amendment is no different. People that love guns, I love cars, I collect cars. People that go and buy comic books and collect comic books like at Comic-Con, there's no difference. The problem is there's so much misinterpretation because nobody's willing to talk to the people that are behind the line. Listen, I run a gun store. I've ran a gun store for over 10 years. This stuff is my life. It's my passion. I know it, okay? I know what works and I know what doesn't work. So listen, whatever his name is Borat to me. Stick to your dumb comedy because that's what you're good at. So the part we're upset is where Showtime starts to make guns try to look like toys by sticking stuffed animals on them.
Yeah, and again, this is to make a whole joke of, gun owners, Second Amendment activists. Like, they want to make this whole joke and make this image of people like you and just people that love the Second Amendment gun supporters like, oh, you're clowns, you're ignorant, you think this is a toy. We'll send Borat in there. He'll make you look stupid. He'll really show you what's up. And then, no, what happened is you showed him what's up, and that this false image and narrative that people have about gun owners and gun store owners is just entirely wrong.
Yeah, but here's the thing. They did get their point across with that moron they put on the TV holding it with a bunny. But see, those guys are outdated. Those people that they fooled are outdated. Those lawmakers that they fooled and they basically made them look stupid, it's because they're passing laws, they're getting their votes, they're getting their butts in the seat, and then they forget about everybody else.
What has the response been like from other gun store owners? I would imagine that a lot of gun store owners are reaching out to you saying thank you.
It's actually, I haven't heard any, there's maybe one or two gun store owners from other states, but the amount of phone calls, I'm getting probably 300 to 400 phone calls a day, emails, 150 to 200 a day of people just saying thank you. You know what, Norris? They go, the way you're representing the Second Amendment, but you're also saying that, listen, I welcome the negative side of the Second Amendment. If you want to come talk to me and have a nice conversation and talk about this, I'm open to it. I've already challenged the politicians. I said, listen, call me, because the laws you're passing are not the right laws. They don't work in California. They don't, And I've told people, listen, I used to be a cop. Criminals don't come in and say, hey, Norris, listen, I'd like to buy a gun, and in 10 days, when I pick it up, I'm going to go commit a crime. That doesn't work.
Well, and I would imagine that not only the phone calls, but I would imagine business has probably picked up for you. I'm shocked more gun store owners haven't called and thank you, because he thought, I guarantee you, based on the way he was acting and how fake it was, he thought that you guys were probably lowest IQ. He thought that this would be real easy. Oh, yeah, I'll go in there, be a Hungarian immigrant dressed like some sort of clown situation. So that shows you how little they thought of you. And again, he ends up being the jackass.
Yeah, and listen, I don't mind it. I don't mind it. If you think you can fool me, come on in. I do this shit every single day. I talk to people every day. I get to know people's true intentions. So what makes you think you can walk into my store and I'm not going to spot your ass and understand exactly what you're trying to do? This is what I do every day. Show me somebody that does it better than a gun store owner. You know what I mean?
You know what? And that's very true. Again, gun store owners are that responsible, folks. He can spot a phony from a mile away. Norris Sweidan is with me here for one more segment. He is the owner of Warrior One Guns and Ammo, very popular guns and ammo store out in California, where Sacha Baron Cohen, Ali G. Borat, thought that he could troll the gun store, make gun owners and gun store owners look like fools. Oops. It turned out they outsmarted him easily, and he ended up looking like the fool. I did have a question for you about something you said in the last segment, but before I got to that, I was just curious, Norris, if there's anything you wanted to share with our audience about that experience of booting Borat from your store after he tried to fool you.
You know, I love doing that. I really did, and I'm glad that dude's outdated. His show's outdated. We just enjoy doing it. You know, if Showtime wants a show, we have a show for them. The funny thing is that we just got done shooting a pilot before they walked in a week ago.
Yeah, and you actually thought that's why they were targeting you.
Yeah, because we actually said, well, how, you know, yeah, we're popular, and where's the best place to pick is California, so maybe they got wind we just got done shooting a pilot for our show Down the Barrel, and maybe that's why they target me.
Which looks pretty badass. I mean, I got to tell you, the preview you put out looks like it's pretty well produced.
Well, here's the thing. It is, because it's coming from a major network. But here's the thing, brother. It's about real people buying real guns for real reasons, from all demographics of life, like single moms. Why do they need a gun in the house? What's the correct way to have a gun in the house? So it's the real deal. It's not some moron putting a buddy on a gun and walking around and making everybody look dumb. Like I said, those people are outdated.
So is it kind of like Pawn Stars or something, but for a gun store?
It's better. It's better. It's not script. It's real. It's real decisions. It's going over real guns. That's the awesome thing about it.
Yeah, you know what? That really is powerful, and that may have been why they decided to target you guys, because I saw the preview you guys put out. It's badass. It's clean, and now the way you lay out the show plan, I mean, that's going to be a successful show. There's no doubt about that. And the cool thing is, that's something people can relate to. You know what I'm saying? Because people can watch that and be like, oh, wow, that makes sense. Maybe I should get that weapon for home defense.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Listen, it will make you cry. It will make you laugh. The different demographics you deal with. Listen, I even talked to somebody who's anti-gun. Okay? That's what the show's about, too.
And so you're basically just filming this as people are coming in to tell their stories.
Absolutely. Why do you need a gun? Because, listen, you don't just come in and buy a gun and walk out. Listen, if we get a bad feeling about you, I'll kick your butt out of the store. We won't sell you a gun. I don't need your money. I do this because I love it, and I want people to be protected, because I don't want them to be a victim. You don't want to buy a gun? Listen, I'll sell you a taser. I'll sell you a pepper spray. Don't buy a gun. Put an alarm on the house. At the end of the day, protect yourself and protect your family. That's really what I care about.
Well, and you proved that you're going to give a fair breakdown. You're going to say, okay, this individual looks deranged or this individual looks fake. I'm sorry, we're not taking it. That got caught. That went viral, and now you guys are going to be even bigger, and your show is going to be even bigger. Now, you said something in the last segment that I wanted to ask you about. You're a former cop, and a lot of people would be shocked by this, but as a former cop, would you say that you want more citizens to be armed?
You know, here's what I want. The best way to put it, I want the right citizens to be armed. Because let me explain to you why. Carrying a gun, a lot of people don't understand. It's a huge responsibility. It's not Hollywood. Bullets don't go where bullets are supposed to go. You have to be trained. You have to have the tactical awareness to understand when something's going to happen. You might have a gun. You might be with your family. You might not have the right opportunity, the right chance to take advantage of that tactical situation. So you would want the right people with the gun. Because listen, The most important thing is you got to protect yourself and your family. Okay, so even as a cop, when I carried a gun, I always checked my surroundings. Make sure it's not paranoia; it's situational awareness and knowing when's the opportunity. So you want the right people with the gun.
All right, let's finish and let's go back to Borat here. Have you heard from Borat and his team since that you booted them from the store?
No. Even the day I booted him out, when I was confronting the producers, they weren't giving me any answers. All their answers were vague, and I got upset. And there's some stuff I said that was nasty to them, and I kicked them out of the store because don't come into my store. Don't play me. Don't mess around. My blood and sweat and tears are in this business, and if you're not going to answer what I'm asking, then you're going to get the bad side.
And once again, you are the perfect example of the type of gun store owners and the type of people that are Second Amendment activists. You're not going to be fooled. You're aware. You understand your environment. And if somebody's trying to play you, you're going to call them out on it. And then it's amazing. I can't believe they never even reached out, say, hey, sorry, or hey, can you leave us alone? I mean, that shows you really did just totally destroy them. They don't even want to think about this anymore.
Oh, and you know what? You're right. And you know what? You said the best word. I'm going to destroy this show that they're trying to do. You know what? Stick to your stupid comedy. Don't put toys on guns. That's the part that bothers me the most. So I'm going to make sure this thing flops, and I've called out Showtime, and I'll call out Borat. I really don't care.
So they're here making a mockery of guns while you have Democrats basically calling for the Second Amendment to be revoked. I mean, it's the delusion of these people. A, it's un-American, but, B, it's like, if you're going to sit here and try to take gun violence seriously and stuff, why are you making jokes about it?
The funny thing is, you just said the perfect word, gun violence. You know what I saw this morning? I saw the students talking to the mayor of L.A., they're going against gun violence. And then I saw an astronaut, which I'm sorry that happened to his wife. Guess what, people? It's not gun violence. It's people violence, okay? Why is an astronaut trying to pitch for gun control? Listen, bud, stick to being an astronaut. I don't go talking about reverse thrusters, okay? Stick to what you know. Come and talk to the people that know the business. I know the business. Hey, politicians, look up Warrior One Guns and Ammo and call me. I will help you to get the correct laws that work, that don't hurt people in the Second Amendment, but hurt the criminals. Because the criminals are laughing. They're laughing because they're like, listen, everything they're passing is not hurting the Second Amendment. I mean, it is hurting the Second Amendment. It's not hurting them. It's hurting us.
Well, exactly. It's hurting law-abiding citizens,
Exactly.
people that actually follow their laws. And it's incredible when you have a story like Kate Steinle's murder, where that criminal was able to get a gun. He shouldn't even have been in the country, but he's able to get a gun, shoot an American citizen dead, and yet no calls for the gun control after that, just calls for, oh, don't be mean to the poor illegal immigrant.
And I'm telling you, criminals get guns. They get them. I used to be a cop. They don't get them from a store. They just don't. It doesn't work like that. And that's what's upsetting is that you have people pushing for gun control, but listen, you don't know anything about guns. You don't know what it takes to sell a gun. You don't. Talk to me, talk to the employees. You'll see what they go through. And let me tell you, DOJ in California does a phenomenal job. Every time I call DOJ, I get an answer, they help me, and they're overwhelmed. You know what I mean? So I talk to DOJ all the time, like, guys, hey, this doesn't make sense. They're like, Norris, we just can't keep up. We can't keep up with the laws that are being passed, Being
in the industry and out there in California where you have a bunch of anti-gunners in Congress out there in your representation, what would you say the dichotomy is between the people? Are they kind of going more pro-Second Amendment, anti-Second Amendment versus the Democrats in Congress that are going against the Second Amendment?
It's both ways, man. It's both ways. You got the people that are all for all the Second Amendment, and you got people that are completely Second Amendment. But there's a gap. That gap is there's misinterpretation on both sides. And, I stayed out of this for a long time until this happened, and now I'm in it. And I need to find a way to close that gap. It's going to be hard. It really is. But let me ask you something. When somebody drinks and drives, who gets in trouble? Do they go after the alcohol? Do they go after the car manufacturer? No, it's that person that's responsible that drank and got behind the wheel. So why is it every time gun violence happens, it's the gun, 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 gun? Because it's coming from the other side that are just screaming gun control because they don't have the knowledge of they don't know everything. They don't know the rules. They don't know the laws because the Democrats, like you said, are passing laws that don't make any sense.
And it's a political agenda. And I think that example you just gave proves that it's a political agenda. Norris Sweidan, thank you so much for joining us today. Great job kicking that fraud out of your store. Warrior One, Guns and Ammo, we salute you.
You know, someone very profoundly once said many years ago that if fascism ever comes to America, it'll come in the name of liberalism.
He goes to jail. He goes to jail. Lock him up.
If you are receiving this transmission, you are the resistance.
Guaranteeing your food independence is a crucial part of prepping. Between debt crisis, natural disasters, or even simple power outages, having a supply of storable meals is crucial. With InfoWars Life Select storable food, you can make sure you and your family are ready for any emergency. With drinks, snacks, and meals in amounts ranging from 72 hours to a full year, there's no better place to look for healthy, easy, and incredible meals. Including meals such as Traveler Stew, home-style potato soup, and a variety of other meals for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, InfoWars Life Select storable food will help you eat comfortably in a time of need. They even work great for camping. Simply pack a 72-hour kit to go and you have easy-to-cook and transport food for you and your loved one's trip. Don't be caught surprised by an emergency. Make sure you're stocked up today with all the food you need for an affordable price with InfoWars Life Select storable foods.